Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. My name is Nate, and I'll be your host on today's episode of Spin to Die. All right, so we got our spinner wheel here. Let's spin this, figure out which tier we're doing. So we're going to do tier number 6. So tier 6 is going to be animals right here. It's one of the difficult tiers. So give this a good spin. Let's see what animal we got. The one that's not an animal. Awesome. The robot. Sweet. I've been wanting to do the robot. All right, so we're going to do a robot. Let's figure out how many colors we're going to do here. So we're going to go back over here to the numbers. How many colors are we doing? All right, so colors. Doing 7 colors. So we're going to do quite a bit of colors on this. All right, so colors. Here we go. Come over to our color wheel. Color number 1. First color is going to be yellow. All right, so now color number 2. Color 2 is going to be red. Spin back this way. Color number 3 is gray. Color number 4 is going to be blue. Color 5 is black. Color 6 looks like it's green. And color 7, our final color, it's going to be orange. I'll come over here to here's our color altering wheel. Okay, so color number 1. Let's see if we change color number 1 or not. Color number 1 is going to be its original color. So color number 1 is going to stay. So color number 2. 2 is going to be shaded. So 2 is the first level of shade. All right, so color number 3. What are we doing with color number 3? Color 3, shade plus. So that's going to be a dark shade. All right, so now color number 4. Color 4, tone plus. That's going to be more of our earth tones right there. Okay, it's color number 4, tone plus. Color number 5. Color number 5 is going to be shade. It's the first level of shade, a little bit darker. All right, now color number 6. Color 6 is going to be hue shift to the right. So we're going to add a little bit of the color to the right of 6. All right, so color number 7. Final color is going to be tinted. So it's going to be a little bit lighter. Okay. So after we do those, and once the whole thing is dyed, are we going to add black over the dye? Yes or no? This is a plus or minus. And plus. So that's going to be yes. Positive. Okay. So now we're going to get to our pattern. All right. First, turn the shirt inside out. Do that with all of my dyes here. So we're going to do inside out and front side up. So you want to put the back of the shirt down on the table. I'm going to smooth out all these wrinkles here. It's a nice little wrinkly shirt. All right, smooth that out. And I did just get gloves in. I'll go ahead and put some gloves on. Soda ash is starting to make the tips of my fingers a little sore. So I'll put these gloves on. As you can see, my fingers are already dyed from earlier. I did another video today. I did not wear gloves. I did not. I normally have gloves. I didn't have any at the moment, and these just came in. So here we go. These are nitrile gloves. I usually wear these when I'm working outside and it's hot. Sometimes I won't wear gloves because I'll get too hot and sweaty in them, but gloves definitely help. Okay. We are doing a robot. Robot. Now, I have done a robot design where like the head is here and then the body is here, the mouth, eyes. But I think what we're going to do is do the whole robot. Yes, I'm going to mark. Got center of my shirt marked here. And I'm going to draw a line right down the center. And our robot, it's going to be a bit boxy. So let's see, we're going to want the body about like that, I suppose. Then we have legs and some feet, hands. Okay, yeah, so here we go. Right here. And I'm using yellow. I don't know if you can see it on the camera right there. This light color. Do the light colors first. That way, if you don't like your drawing, start to fix it with darker colors over the top. So I don't really like that box. So we're gonna angle this here. Okay. Now put the head over here. Looks like I definitely have much more drawing over here than here, but it might be a little wide anyway. So all right, give it an antenna here. The antenna ball. Okay. Go down here to legs first. There's two straight legs. We'll see how they look. We'll see how they look. Robots don't have too much bend. You kind of bend a little bit. It's socket, socket, socket. Okay. These legs look funny. All right, here we go. Now we'll give it some platform feet. The old robot platinum feet. We're gonna do like I don't know, are these the 50 styles robots? I don't know. This is definitely not yeah, I could do, there's a modern day depiction of a robot. I can do anything I want here. I could do one of my animals. I could do a person. Go, yeah, that's a robot. Okay. So arms. How do we want arms here? Our arm's going to go out or down. Oh, I don't know if y'all can see this. It looks pretty funny over here. Yeah, we're just going to do that super robotic shape. Hey, why not? Why not? It's a robot. It's a robot. Do you give it some fingers? Let's do it. Okay. It looks like little rake fingers. Got our rake fingered robot here. All right, so this is going to curve down here. Sure that head's big enough. Boom. Give us some eyes in there. And it's going to get a mouth right there. There's our basic robot. You can't see it very well. I'm going to go back over this with the darker marker. And it totally makes sense. It looks like I am off my middle line right there. See how this brown works here. Okay. There's our eye shape. I'm going to give it some eyeballs in here. Square them off. Boom. My robot is now looking at us. Okay. Antenna. So I think the middle is actually going to be more. There we go. That looks a little better there. Okay. So the head's going to come up about that high. Antenna. Antenna. Okay. A nice receiving antenna right there. Okay, here it goes. This. Okay, face goes down about here. So you see I went down farther than my yellow because now that I'm drawing it, this looks more correct here. Okay. So the mouth needs to be able to fit in here. This right here is going to be a little tough doing this. You're probably going to have to isolate with an isolation inside. This is all isolations. So we are doing in super advanced isolation here, robotic isolation. Okay, so there's the bottom of the face. There's chin. And mouth. Right there. We're gonna do a little of this. Okay, robot face. Robot face. Do we give robot eyes like this? Let's do it. The robot's starting to look a little familiar to you. It's your friendly neighborhood robot from the year that far in the future. Wow, 1,000,000 years. Okay, here we go down here. Got some shoulders. I don't want to do too broad of shoulders, just like that. We're gonna make them look like a milk jug. And give them the milk jug body. Because robots apparently fit perfectly inside a metallic milk jug. That makes total sense. Yes, correct. Okay. Now here's our body. How tall we want this guy to be. Do we give it a chest cavity too? Here's his door. Open up into the inside. So to there. Yeah, that's looking the right size. So these are going to go down just a little farther. That way we got a nice little uniform border around it. Would you look at that? He's almost there. Okay. I'm going to put a nice little rotating socket, you could call this here. This is what allows the robot to bend his arms. And right here, well, this is how I'll rotate the arms. We're going to give him bendable arms because this robot likes to bend his arms. He does not have these straight corner arms. We're going to give it a nice little bendable arm here. Here we go. Did you see that? His arms are nice and bent. Now, I'm going to throw some hands on here. And hands, you get these little cups. We're going to close it off there. And 3 little fingers. Got 3 fingers here. We'll start with this one. Just because this robot with the bendable arms likes to use this one pretty often. There you go. Nice little ode to our robot of the future. Here we go. Throw in these other fingers. Got a nice little rake hand. 3-fingered rake hand robot. All right. So now we got our robot with the bendable arms and the middle fingers. How about his legs? How do his legs bend? His legs bend a little bit? A little. Because this guy likes to bend. He doesn't like to be stiff and straight. This is a bendable robot. And he bends through here and here. So in the future, robots have more of a purpose and they do things. Unlike here where we're still trying to figure it out. Okay, so here's our little ankles. And the bottom. And our feet. It's going to get some nice feet ears. All right, here we go. So now our drawing of our robot is complete. Now, honestly, we didn't have to draw both sides. I'm going to fold this in half, and we're only going to really see one side. I do this so that y'all can see it a little better. Now we're going to turn this to the side here. Our middle point on the top of the shirt, middle point on the bottom of the shirt. Grab those and then pull to make some tension. A nice little fold there. Squeeze and go straight up. Throw the bottom out there, and here we go. Shirt perfectly folded in half. Got a nice half robot here. We're going to tie half a robot, and we're going to open it up. And it's going to be a whole robot. There's also room to tie something into the back here, if you please to do that. We're not going to be doing that for this video. What I'm going to do, sleeve through sleeve method. So you're going to take your hand, stick it through the sleeve, all the way through the other sleeve, grab it, pull it through. This makes left side and right side of the shirt the same, and the front and back side different. So you can tie two different patterns. The reason I am separating the front and back pattern like this with 4 layers of shirt going into it, a lot of times you end up losing detail. And so these more difficult patterns, it's easier to separate the front and back and just do 2 different patterns. So I'm probably just going to do, after I tie this up, there's the 2 simplest ways to really continue tying from there is to just go with the pleat pattern from around the outside, or to make a little scrunch pattern out of it. And so we'll wait till we get there to decide that. For now, we're taking these wrinkles out, making sure the middle point is flush, and go down here to the bottom, see it does not wrinkle correctly. Okay, take out some of these wrinkles. I'll flip this over. We're going to double check this side. We're going to flip back and forth a little bit. We want to make sure that the two sides are lined up perfectly even. If you do not make it perfect, your robot will not be perfect. You will see all of those imperfections, every single one of them. They will show up in the pattern. Now, it doesn't have to be ironed flat or anything. You just need the 2 layers flat together. Okay, so this side looks pretty good, but we're going to stick our hand through the sleeve, double check. On these higher tier patterns, I definitely spend more time doing this. If I'm going to be spending more time on the shirt, I'm going to make sure everything is done correct. I don't want to spend 3 or 4 hours on a shirt, possibly. I don't think that this won't take that long, but this will probably be about a 2-hour shirt, maybe 3 hours total. I don't really want to spend 3 hours on a shirt and it not look well. So I'm going to be putting everything into these shirts that take longer, even if that means spending an extra 10 or 15 minutes, like making sure everything's perfect. You might as well spend that extra time if you're already spending a lot of time on it. Okay. So now we've got pretty smooth here. It doesn't feel like there's any wrinkles underneath to worry about. And smooth. Okay. 70-pound sinew, artificial sinew. It is a waxed polyester cord. I'm going to start over here, and I think we'll work our way down. I have never done this size or shape of robot. This looks very difficult. There's Every single one of these has to be tied. So this has to be tied separate, that separate, that separate, that, then that, then that, that, this, here, 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 here. Each of the fingers, the leg, and the feet, all their own isolation. So this is not an easy pattern at all whatsoever. Don't go into this thinking that it's just going to be a breeze. So we're going to start with the should we just start all the way down? No, we're going to start here in the eye. Okay. So I'm going to pinch it. This will probably round out a little bit. It's a little hard to tie a square, especially down at this size. This is not a big tie off. So the smaller the tie, the harder. There is a point where you can't tie smaller. So there's these like little tiny nubs, and it seems to be about as small of a nub that we can tie, still pull enough to lock on itself. Okay, so there's that. See, did that lock on itself? Now I gotta check to make sure that it is actually locked. And I don't think that it is. Okay, so I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna undo that. I'm gonna give this more. I'm gonna do that again. But because of how small this is, sometimes these small ones, you can't get the cord to lock on itself. And you may have to come through and tie a little, just a basic knot on here. All right, so here's my knot. I put it right over here. That's just going to keep it from slipping off of that. That's it. We don't want to tie it too tight. We don't want to do too strong of a knot at all, because that means you got to take it off. And if you do a knot that's not meant to come off, sometimes you got to tie into the shirt to get it off, and you don't want to do that because, cutting into the knot to get it off, and you don't want to have to cut into it. Putting a blade towards the shirt is just a super high risk of putting a hole in the shirt. So I don't do that. Okay. So the eye, that's the pupil around the eye, isolation. So it's kind of pleated around so that each side, or so that it all lines into itself. I'm gonna wrap this around here. I'm gonna give it probably 3 or 4 wraps, it looks like. I'm gonna pull this in a little tighter and give that some nice pull. Felt that lock on itself. All right, so there's the eye. Now the outer rim, I don't know, kind of glasses looking things around the eye, the outer rim. The casing that holds the robot's eye in place. That's what we'll call it. Okay. So I just did kind of a fan fold, I guess, a little miniature fan fold to go around it. So it pleats. So here's like the eyeball. Here's the outside of the eye right here. Okay, so I'm going to do one more around here. I'm gonna look at this bottom here because, okay, you want it to go pretty close, but not all the way to it. So I'm gonna have to unwrap this a little bit. Okay, right there. So I'm a little bit wider. That way it gives it somewhere to grip here. Sometimes when you get it too close, when you go to pull, it just slips over here. You don't really want that to happen. Okay. I'm going to pull that tight. We'll walk over the camera. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, see if I can make this easier for you to see. I don't know how difficult this is at all for you to see. Okay, so here's this. I'm going to zoom up. After I tighten this, I'm going to go back over, see if that's my comfortable spot to work at or not, and then adjust just from there. Okay. So actually, I'm going to be working probably about right here. So let me make one more adjustment. Go. I'm going to zoom out a little just to make sure that I get everything. Okay, here we go. And I can move it a little closer for you to see as I wrap some stuff. Okay. Because if I do this, can you see that? Let's check. All right, that looks perfect. Okay, cool. It'll make it easier for me to show you some stuff while I tie this. Take a drink over here. Okay. So that was the casing around the eye. Since we only have a little bit up here, we're going to do the top first. We're going to finish this, then we're going to work our way down. Okay, so this is like the skull area, robot skull. There we go. There's the brain noggin. If anything's even in there, who knows? Could be in the body. Okay, so I basically just pleated little miniature pleats from there to the top to the middle. So it looks like my cord is running down below. So I'm gonna pull this over, just give it a little tightness so that what I want it to do is get some bite on that fabric, and so that it'll hold shape without actually tightening it just yet. Okay, so we're gonna wrap this a couple times. All right, there. Give that a good pull. Okay, the top of the head right there. Now we're gonna come over here to the antenna. All right. We're going to make little micro pleats going in, just like that. We're going to continue the direction and loop around to hold that and isolate it. Give a little tight pull so that it's hold and locked on there. So there's the antenna. Wrap this a couple times. That way we can give it a good pull right here and try to make it lock on itself. So I'm going to Get a good angle. Okay. There's the antenna, like stem of the antenna. And here is the antenna ball. It's going to be, so what you can do is grab this middle of the antenna ball, and we're just doing a little teeny fan fold. Okay, just a little teeny fan fold right there, so that one side meets up with the other, creates just a little tiny isolated circle. So a mini ISO fan fold. Okay, I'll wrap that a couple times so that it's tight, locks on there. We have our ball shape, antenna ball shape. Okay, pull that tight. We're going to work this back down. I'm going to wrap this around here so that it gives us somewhere to lock and stay. Same with around here. Okay, here we go. Now our cord back down to the bottom of the eye. I like to do just one single wrap typically on these. So yeah, one tie. Everybody knows the rules. Okay, here we go. We're gonna come down here to teeth, to mouth, fake teeth. So even this. So the mouth here, if you wanted, you could go put your finger right here in the middle, and because it's rounded, so if you want to put it down here and make your pleats. There, so it goes around like that. We're going to be tying right here. Okay. So we'll wrap around that line. All these lines drawn here are just the teeth marks that I drew in. And there is kind of a way to do those, to make them show sort of like that. Won't quite look like that. We're going to do something else. So this mouth right here, we're going to do, so we're going to tie one more farther in here, all right here, and that's going to separate the teeth, sort of. So it can be a little hard to explain. So that's like the middle section in the teeth. It's not going to look like normal teeth. It's not going to quite look like how we drew, but that is the natural way to tie to make it look, I guess, as correct as possible here. Okay. Teeth are done. Now we're going to come down here to the neck. You could say this is here. And we're going to pleat here. Well, first we're going to make sure everything's all smooth because something doesn't feel right. Okay, right there. Got that? So now we're going to make little pleats. We're going to pleat to the edge here. And pull some of these. And make sure to hold this. Hold this still. And pleat upwards. So you're going to make the bend. Make the turn there. Make sure you got your point in here, or it will not look like you're drawing at all. Okay, so what we're going to do here is it's going to be tied from there, from here, over here. So to the bottom of that, which encases this in it. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this over. Pull it just tight enough to get a little bite. It's like that. And so you see how it kind of, there are a few limitations with the fabric. So if you see, one of the things I like to do when something like this happens, now it may be hard for me to explain what's going on, but let me wrap this real quick. Okay, so I've wrapped that. We'll pull it tight. It's going to lock in. Okay, so see here, this would have been my draw, or that's my draw line. So the bottom of the robot's face is going to be rounded. It's not going to quite be flush. So what I'm going to do here is, this is the top part and this is the bottom. So I'm going to come and bring this around to the top of the head of the robot, not the antenna here. So that's the antenna ball, that's the antenna stem, that's the top of the head. So I am between top of the head, antenna stem. Now we're going to bring this to here. And what this will do, okay, so I'm going to end up coloring all of that right there black. And that will be a border that encases the face, the whole face of the robot. So we're going to give this a good pull. Okay. Our robot right here. That is our robot head. Just the head right there. Now we're going to come down to, let's see, sort of the neck area, neck, shoulder, just, I guess that would be the neck. So that was just the head. This would be the neck. So we're going to pleat in towards the shoulders. So I'm now all the way into the shoulder. I'm going to hold that. And I'm going to bend it a little bit. Now I'm going to start pleating in that way. So there's not much room here, as you can see, to fit your fingers. So you have to make some very small pleats and try to bend it so that it makes that pleat right there. It goes in right here. Okay. So now we're going to continue from our last tie, wrap around right there, and bring it right up to that same point that we were just at. So there's the neck. Tied up right up to the bottom of the head right here. Okay. Next piece, what we're going to do, all right, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take right here, we're going to pleat all the way here. So here's the bottom of the robot. Here's its shiny metal ass. Bite my shiny metal ass. As he might say. Okay, so now we're going to make our pleats. Keep all your pleats same height. Keep them in a row. Bring it in. So don't worry about what any of the rest of the shirt's doing. All you worry about these pleats right here. So pleat. And as you pull into this, you want to try to stretch the fabric out a little bit. Not enough to like actually make stretches, but just enough to where it feels like naturally stretched. Okay, so here's the end. We're going to turn this in. And that last pleat, we're going to just let it all happen on its own. So we're going continue right back from where we were. So I'm going to bring this over the top. We're going to bring it right here. So we're going to do something similar here once we tie this. So we're going to add a border around the outside just like we did to the top of the head part. That way we've got a nice bold border around our robot. And it looks exactly like a robot. Nobody's like, hey, what is that? Is that a robot? Yes. Yes, in fact, that is indeed a robot. Now, see that we did this? Those folds kind of naturally did almost all the work on the inside for us. So what we're going to do, just kind of straighten these up just a little bit, put them in line, kind of don't have to fix too much because that is mostly in a row right there. Look at that. All of our ducks in a row. We didn't have to do anything. So we're just going to wrap that up. Sometimes you just get lucky and all your ducks are lined up in a row. Here we go. Okay. So that was like the easiest part of the whole thing. And of course, none of it goes that easy, but that did. Okay, now we're going to bring this tie back over to here. Back to where we were. Going back to the start. Right there. Now, before we do these, actually, no, after. Okay, now this is something that I have learned from doing the gnomes. So, my gnomes have a thing very similar where I would tie here and here, but then on gnomes, there's a little hand that sticks out here, a little foot that sticks out here. I've still got this shoulder piece here. Okay, so this shoulder piece, what I want to do is spread the fabric, grab the middle of it. This is all going to be isolated together. So I'm going to stick my fingers on the bottom, push this up, spread these folds, and pinch it in the opposite direction that it's naturally trying to fold. Okay, so you probably couldn't see exactly what I was doing here because I was doing that under my fingers. It's a little hard to show exactly what I'm doing and do it at the same time at this angle. These harder ties, you're going to have some knowledge in how to do these isolations before getting to this. That is why this is a tier 6 die. So out of my 8 tiers, this is tier number 6. So this is up there in difficulty for sure. Okay, so it looks like I got that shape there. Got it pinched. It's kind of like the back of a is that a stegosaurus? Yeah, it's like the back of a stegosaurus. That I don't know what that thing is. That that heat flare shield. It looks like it's probably for like absorbing heat and stuff like that on there. Maybe they live in a cold area and have that stick up to absorb heat, keep their body warm. I don't even know. They're long gone, so that's not my area of expertise at all. So this is what I guess you could call the rotator cup of the shoulder. Okay, so I'm gonna pull that good and tight right there. Whew. All right. Now that shoulder is tied. So the reason I tied that shoulder first is now I'm going to tie. So this is the body right here. This is the neck. Now here's the head right here. Now that extra tie that I did on the head to put this border right here of black, I'm also going to do from here to here. I tied this first so that now I can get my tie as close to that as possible. If I had tied this first, then it would be really hard to tie this right up against it. But now I can tie these two together. I don't know if that made sense to any of you at all, but here goes. Okay. Oh, sorry about that. I'm talking more than I normally talk. I'm just not used to talking this much at all. Like seriously, I really don't. I don't talk this much. Okay. So that is now bent. I take this, bring it to there. All right, we'll see how much dye I can actually get into that. That's going to be all black. And honestly, this being the first like this, I'm pretty sure that I am over tying this. I'm adding too many ties right here, like this one that I'm doing right here. This is going to be, probably don't need that tie at all. And it may even make it harder to add some dye here, but it's all a learning process. So I'm learning as I'm teaching. There are so many different ways to do these that it's not like you have to do this, you have to do that. It's more of like you can do this, but if you do this, then you're going to have to do that. If you do that, then you have to do this, or you might have to do that. It's not, there are never any specifics. I just kind of go with the flow with this, and I'm always thinking about what I'm going to do based off of the decisions that I had just made beforehand. Okay, so now we're at the arm right here. Now what I did is I pinched the center of the arm to bring the middle portion of the arm here up so that the outer part here is lying here. Okay. We're going to pull that up pretty good. One of the reasons we use this to tie, this stuff is not going anywhere. None of these ties going anywhere. You can pull on this super hard, and if anything is going to happen, you're probably going to tear the shirt before you pop one of these ties off. It's just, you need to make sure that these ties are tied well, just like I've got it done right here. Okay, so now I'm going to start to gather all of this in this way. So this is the wrist here. We're going to bring the wrist and we're going to gather all of that in as close to the shoulder as possible. So here's the bottom. Here's this. We're going to bring this in like that. And make the bend so that your line all lines up. Come over here, grab our tie. We're wrapping around this. This is not the easiest. You need to make sure all this holds still while keeping it tight. If you do some of the other patterns that I will be doing, this will be a little bit easier. But I'm going to be honest, this is I made this much harder than it needed to be. So my other animal dyes that I have there, I would say they are considerably easier than this. There's a lot of little segments going on here. So this is a lot. So now that's our arm. Our arm is tied. Go down here to the hand, robot hand. So what we can do, come down here to the finger, middle finger, make a pinch up here to the center. Now what that'll do, it's going to fold our hand in half. Okay, make our 2 points of the hands touch right there. And yes, this is another isolation. It's all isolation. We're just doing isolations here. Yeah, well, that's the name of the game here. If you can't do a controlled isolation, good luck with these patterns. It's kind of similar to a geode. A geode is a form of isolation, but it is not controlled. I mean, technically, you can control it to make it look like a rock, to make it look like your geode, but a geode is like a natural formation. So it is a natural isolation doing whatever it does. Geodes are untouched by order. I mean, there's an order into what makes it, but the geode itself is chaos, which then has order within the chaos, and then you have your crystals or so in the geodes, but in a chaotic order. Okay, so I have pleated the hand. It looks like that corner is not lined up too well. Okay, so you can see my pleats right here. It's not perfect. Honestly, I don't care. We are not making a perfect hand. This is a hand shape, kind of in the shape of a cone, a little flat cone, a pedestal, a little mountain with the top blown off. Okay, so we pull that tight there. Just tight enough to grab it. You know the game, you know the rules. Pull this a little tight. Here we go. So that is pulled right there. Okay, just enough. Now I'm going to do our tight pull. All right, that is locked on itself. The hand is locked. Now we're going to come over to our fingers. We got 3 fingers here. We'll tie up the infamous favorite right there. The favorite of all of them. Some of it like to call it the bird. I'm going to tie up this little birdie right here. All right, so what I'm going to do is, now that I've made this side and this side line up, we're going to condense in by starting here, making a zigzag fold to condense it. So we're just doing little micro pleats to bring the outer part of the finger into the hand. The finger connects to the hand, connects to the arm, connects to the shoulder, connects to the body, connects to the neck, to the head, to the mouth, to the eyes, to the antenna, and the antenna ball. And that is our robot. We're now back here at the birdie finger. We're flipping the bird. All right. So there is his little finger there. So now we're going to spread these two apart. We're going to tie those separate. You could tie them together, but then one is going to be better than the other. And I'm not going for one better than the other. We're going for both better than both. Does that work? Are they both better than the other? Can they both be better? If they're both perfect, then they are exactly as they should be and better than the other for its purpose. That makes sense. We'll go with that. All right, so this is thumb. I don't know. Robots have thumbs when they have 3 fingers, or is it just 3 fingers? And the 2 outer ones can both be a finger and or a thumb. Okay. Tie up this finger here. Give it a good couple wraps. Probably wrap that around 4 times, 3 times. I don't know. Pull that tight. Okay. I'm going to bring this back over to that finger. Wrap it on there so it's stopped there. I like to do this so that I don't give any kind of loose area for it to slip and eventually start to untie. So I want everything to be locked into place. Make our ties nice and secure. One nice, secure tie. Everybody knows the rules. One tie. One tie. Everybody knows the rules. All right, we're wrapping around. So we're doing the same thing with this finger that we did with this finger that we did with this finger. So we're going to wrap this around there. 3rd time's charm. Wrap that 3 times. We'll do it 4th time. 4th time on the 3rd finger. Give it a good lock right there. Okay. Our fingers all tied. Fingers, hand, arm, shoulder, body, door. Can you tell what you're looking at when you look at this? I can. It's like in the Matrix when they're like looking at the screen. Like, do you even see code anymore? Nope. All I see are people. That's person. That's person. That's person. Okay, so we're going to slowly bring this back up this way. So I wrap that around the hand, just to kind of hold it there. And wind it around the arm. No need to wrap it on the arm. And bring it right down here. Let's see. Yep. So we're going to bring it to the bottom of the body. Bring it all the way over to the top here, back where we had it before. That's the neck. So it went over the neck, down around the body. Now we got it right back here, down here to the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to do the leg and the foot. And then our robot is tied. I don't know how long it's been. Definitely going over an hour here on just this tie. Thank you for watching. Anybody that's here watching with me, be sure to click like and subscribe. There will be many more videos like this. I am enjoying this spin to die. I now have my new microphone. I hope everything sounds good and clear to you now. I even have music playing in the background, and I got the AC going, and I'm hoping that you cannot hear those like you could hear them before. They were pretty loud at one point. This microphone seems to be pretty good at filtering those out. Okay, so now our leg has been creased down the center. So that side is now even with this side. Now we're going to do what we did with the fingers and the arm. And we're just going to crease it in towards the body. So the bottom is now up here. All of these may seem like the same tie because that is what they are. There is no real difference, even though they're all slightly shaped different. They're all slightly different sizes. It is all just isolation upon isolation upon isolation. And all of those isolations put together make your image. But you're going to have to remember what some of this stuff is. And if you can't seem to remember this, so if you're doing something like this and you are now completely lost, just dye this one, dye it however. And the next time you do these, before you go to tie it, take your markers and color in a whole section. Color it however you want. Color code it. That way you know what's what. I used to kind of do that at first, and I've realized I don't need to. I can look at this. I know what's what. And even if I don't know what's what right at the beginning, I could take a look and be like, well, let's see. There's a lot of things. I can't really tell what's what. So maybe if we go over here to the top, say you know what your very first thing is. So the very, very first thing right here, you got antenna ball. Okay, antenna ball. Right under that, antenna. And then you've got your forehead, your eyeball, the outer part of the eye casing, inner part of the mouth, lower part of, or the whole outer part of the face. And then this is our border. This is our neck. This is our body. This is the door. This is the border. This is the shoulder. This is the arm, the hand, the finger. Down here to the leg that we just tied. And then our foot. So our foot is last. Okay. See that shape right there? Just going to do this. Make sure you got both layers in there. And adjust the shape a little bit. Here we go. Okay, now I'm just going to make a pleat. Hold those still. Make this turn here. Okay, so see how there's crease in there? Fold it. And we're going to fold our way up to the leg. So there's the leg. And we're going to tie just up to it. Oh, looks like we did not get enough of it. So untie there. Okay, so we're going to try this again. There are many times where I do have to untie my ties because once I start to pull it tight, I notice it didn't grab enough of the material there, or it grabbed too much, or it just it's not in the right spot. And so it's better to just do a little bit of untying. That way you're not thinking about it and be like, man, I wish I would have changed that. So if you feel like you're not doing something correct, untie it, fix it, but don't obsess on something. Just kind of fix it once, go from there. Don't overdo it. Okay. So it looks like our robot is tied. Does it look like a robot to you? Perfect. Looks exactly like one, right? Yeah. All right. Cut this. I'm gonna tie the rest of this. We'll use fishing line. Grab the fishing line. Okay. Adjust the camera. Well, you can see whole shirt is not as important to see the detail here as it was before. Here we go. Whole shirt in view. Okay. I think we're going to do the Rorschach scrunch. So we're going to kind of take out some of these wrinkles here at the bottom, make sure everything is lined up with itself. So this here, we're going to take the sleeve, open up the middle, make sure you got both sleeves in both hands. And you're going to spread this, fold it in to itself. Okay, so now sleeve is scrunched. We're going to work our way around it from there. Okay, kind of scrunch in and squeeze at the same time. We don't want any part of it to fold over like this. We don't want that. We want it scrunched next to itself, and that's it. Folds over itself, you're going to have lots of white. Okay, so we're going to come over here. We're going to have to work on this a little bit, not here now, but when we tie this, we have to make sure this is nice and cleaned up down over here. Okay, now most of our shirt is scrunched. I don't like that right there. Come back and unpleat and re-scrunch. Here we go. Okay, scrunched mostly. Fix that. All right, so I press down and squeeze. I want it to squeeze into itself. Don't want it to pop out in the middle. So it's going to be the back of our shirt is the front of our shirt. Actually, right here is probably the middle. So we're going to get a little bit of this scrunch design going around our robot here. All right. I'm going to take your, oh, where's my end? Here it is. Almost couldn't find that. So take your end, unravel, make a loop. And put a knot in it. So a double knot is a little better. Just make sure it doesn't slip off. So a little double knot, create your loop. That way you got your loop here. Take this end, stick it through, and a little slip knot right here. Okay, so we're going to put this over the whole thing, just like that. We're going to start to tighten this into itself. But don't just pull this tight, because right there on the end, it's starting to bunch up. So what I do, hand like this, maybe the whole arm, and use your hand to scrunch it in while also pushing down. You want it to be firmly tight, but not nearly as tight as these ties. Not even close. You're not trying to do that here. But you want this bound together more than what you could do with rubber bands. By doing that, you end up getting much more pattern, much more of a crisp pattern here. We like crisp patterns. Crispy patterns, lots of contrast, lots of detail. Want to stand out. Make it look like it took a lot of time, because it did. We like to spend our time on things. Make them look like how we want, make them look good. If we're making it for someone else, make it good for them. Want to make someone feel good about what they're wearing, feel good in the clothes that they're wearing. Okay. So this could take quite a few wraps. So I'm always pressing down as I'm pulling. I need to make sure to get all of the shirt. It's all getting pressed in evenly. Just keep wrapping around, pulling tight, scrunching it in, but not letting it go underneath. Sometimes when you pull the cord under, it may grab. You don't want it to grab. All right, so give it a good pull. Even pressure is important here. If you don't have even pressure, this will have a hard time holding itself and will kind of collapse on itself. So by the time we are done with this, we will be able to pick this up and not have to worry about anything going anywhere. Pick it up and move it, toss it around if we want gently. Move it too much, yeah, of course it's gonna mess some stuff up. Don't want to do that. But we're tying this so that it'll be nice and firm. It'll hold its shape. It'll give us nice crisp lines. Be able to see lots of detail in here. Those of you that see faces in the dyes, you'll be able to see all kinds of who knows what down the center. Definitely some faces for sure. Okay, so down here, we need to be careful, make sure we get all of this. So this right here, I'm holding in my hand, is that area right in between the legs. So actually what I'll probably do is tie that like that. So we're gonna go to here. I'm gonna go over to this area over here. We're gonna tie this up to itself. Need it tied tight, not too tight. Don't want it to look like tied pattern to blend in with the robot itself. We're trying to make it look like the rest of the shirt here. See how I was able to pick that up? So we're now at a point I can now pick up the dye. It is stable. I still have to be a little careful. I could mess it up a little bit, so I don't want to put too much pressure in the wrong places. Not just yet. So I just felt when I pulled right there, it kind of wanted to pull the edge under and make this lift up. We don't want that. All right, here we go. I am almost fully wrapped here. I can tell there are still some edges around that are kind of loose. And the more you tighten that up, the more your pattern will remain nice, crisp, and uniform all the way to the edge of the shirt. So if you don't wrap it all completely like this, you may have some spots where the dye, where the pattern isn't as crisp and it's slightly blurred out and gone into itself, usually darker, muddier. A lot of times that's when black goes over something. If it's not tied tightly, then the black just kind of takes over and it just looks like a little muddy mess. And I'm not trying to do that with this. Okay. So now we got that whole part tied up pretty well. Come over, secure some of this. So this is going to be a little tough. Luckily, oh wait. Well, which one did that? Okay, that's what I'll do. All right. I'm going to make sure we go in between these ties here. Okay, I don't know how much I really want to tie up here. So what I'm going to do here is we're just going to finish off our fishing line. So I'm going to take it to an end, somewhere I can wrap it around a couple times where there's already some wrapped detail. Take this, pull it tight to lock it on itself. And so now I'm going to take some of my little rubber bands here. So these little things. And we're going to bind some of these sections together. You can do that with the fishing line. I've noticed my fingers kind of hurt wrapping those small things with that, because the fishing line, you have to hold it tight. As soon as you let go of tension, it wants to unravel some, and you got to put tension back on it, which you got to hold again. So it's just, it can kind of hurt. So this, I can at least like rubber band a little section, let go. Rubber band a little section, let go. I don't really like these bands. They take forever to take off. But you will have a much cleaner product if you put your rubber bands on these little areas to keep them from touching each other. If they're going to be the same color next to each other, okay, whatever. It's not such a big deal. But if you want different colors in these sections, or if you don't want these sections to touch, like the rest of the shirt, rubber band them off. Looks like one right there. Okay, so we're going to put one here. Not really trying to make anything look pretty here. All you're doing is adding further to the isolation. So you've tied it off and isolated so that the tie is now a little section of its own, and then this binds it into itself so that it is isolated away from all the other isolations. That way, each isolation can maintain its own color. It'll definitely help. So a lot of these I'm actually going to be doing the same color, but so even by doing this, it'll make like each little section here a little bit stiffer on itself, and by doing that, so like when I go to wrap this, some of these can bend to touch, and it's less likely to touch anywhere else if it's wrapped. And the dye has a better transfer, or a better chance of transferring to itself within itself when they're touching, versus one side just pooling up with dye. All right, get over that lip. Okay. Is that all of them? I think I need one more. Just a couple more. Yeah. So if you're wanting to get into these difficult ties, doing stuff like this is going to make the difference between a professional and an amateur looking dye. I didn't do this on all of my first dyes. You could tell. This is something that I've just had to realize that yes, it helps and it makes it much better. All right, I think I'm good here. Okay. Now we're gonna make up our colors and get ready to dye. Went back, watched the recordings, make sure I got my colors right. Color 1, OG yellow. Color 2, shade red. Color 3, shade plus gray. Color 4, tone plus blue. Color 5, shade black. It's just gonna be black. Color 6, hue shift to the right, green. So I'm gonna add some blue to that, and then orange tint right here. So we're gonna go ahead and make those colors. Start OG yellow. So just gonna fill the yellow up. There's yellow. Color number 2. I'm gonna go red right here. Red is shade. We're gonna add a little bit of black. Not too much. We don't want to make that too dark. And now the rest is red right here. If you don't have a pure red dye, you can use fuchsia and orange to make red. That's how it's actually how this red here is made. Yeah. I ran out of a pure red. I've been making fuchsia and orange to make red for quite some time. That's what most of my reds are. If you need a red and white together, you don't really want to mix. You're going to want a pure red. But if you're mixing with other colors and stuff, you can use a mix. It'll work. It's tie-dye. There's no real wrong way. Kind of is. If you're trying to do something a certain way, then I guess you could do it wrong from that way. All right, here we go. So shade plus gray. So this gray right here is already a shaded gray. So what I'm going to do to make it shade plus, so we're going to go through and add a little more black. And now the rest of that's gray. Since we're doing a robot, I am going to add some grays to this. So what we're going to do is we got gray 3 is our super dark gray. So gray 2 right here. It's just going to be our regular gray. So that's the middle gray. I'm going to fill that up. Then we're going to go over here. Gray 1. Gray 1. Super light gray. So we're doing a little bit. Set that aside. Take an empty water bottle, fill it with water. And fill the rest of this with water. So that right there, that's going to be our lightest gray. And honestly, most of the robot is going to be about this color. We use the dark gray around the edges and stuff, but we want our robot that color right there. Okay, after grays, we're just going to go in order right here. Okay, orange right here, tint. Okay, so tint, it's like adding white. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this white, or should we say water, we're going to add about halfway. There we go. That way it actually makes a difference. Now if we were doing tint plus, I actually fill this most of the way with water and then just put a little bit of dye in there. Okay, so here's tint, orange, and fill that the rest of the way. It's going to give us a little bit lighter orange. Honestly, I don't feel like it's half as light. It is enough to make a difference, but I don't feel it's half lighter. It's actually, I don't know, might be about, maybe it is. I don't know. We'll see when we open it. It's going to look orange. You won't even be able to tell. Okay, so orange goes back right there. Green. Green. Hue shift to the right. So what we're going to do, not only is this getting green, but it's getting the color to the next of it. So we're putting some blue in there. Okay, that's a good amount. And with this still being mostly green, I bet it's probably gonna be like a Kelly green. Or I say it's like Kelly green, emerald green, somewhere around there. It's gonna be too green to be a teal. All right, why don't we let's test a little drop right here. That's pretty green, about Kelly green. Okay, blue tone plus. So this here is going to be mostly gray. And I do not actually have very much gray. Looks like, let's see, I'm actually not going to be using much of this. So I'm going to go ahead and borrow some of this gray. What we're going to do, we're going to we'll go about 3/4 of the way with this. Probably a little bit less right there. I'm going to add some of this gray one in here. It's a little lighter. So when I said tone plus is going to be mostly gray, there we go. There's our mostly gray. I have not put any blue in there yet. And here's our blue, tone plus. Doing stuff like this can kind of, like this actually probably would have been a decent color to mix with the grays at some point to make a like a steel color. Like that right there. That's like when you mix that with, say, the dark gray here. And then a lighter version. Well, what do you say? So we're going to do something here. So this I'm going to mess with some colors here just because we're already making a few colors. So these colors were not included, but because we're doing a robot, I'm going to add a little bit of color here. Okay, so this gray. We're going to make our grays slightly blue. Just a tad bit of blue. Throw them back into this gray. That way we got more of a steel gray here. Okay. So there may not be enough in that to actually change that color. We're going to do a little more. Test that. And that works for me. Can already tell that difference right there. Now this right here as well. The gray one. Although this does not get much. I'm not trying to make this strong at all. It just needs that slight blue hint to it. Boom. There is a difference. I'm going to keep it at that. That works for me. So this blue, make it used here with the grays. Make it used here with the color. Make it used with both. We'll see. Now I got our colors mixed. Time to dye the shirt. Start off. Let's see. So I usually start with black. Let me take a look at this real quick. What don't we want touching? So we're going to do a little bit of black right there for the eye. And barely any on there. Okay, good. Then we'll come over here, the outer part of the eye. Just add little bits. It's going to bleed, so very careful here. All right. So I'm going to add this light gray in here in this eye. Okay, now the next layer is, might as well just go ahead and do, that's this border area. I am sure most of you, if you have tied this, or even if you're just watching, you have no idea what any of this stuff is right here. I could tell you it's one thing, and it could be something else, and you wouldn't even know, would you? No. I wouldn't do that though. So that was the eye right here where I skipped at the moment. This is the casing of the eyes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this gray right here. It's my regular gray. All right. I was only going to take small amounts of dye in each of these little sections here. So here we go, a little bit. Whoop, That's definitely too much. So we're going to take this, absorb some of that. There's way too much dye right there. Okay. So the antennas here do not have the border drawn around like the rest. So this is the forehead. All right, so forehead, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to put a couple drops of this dark gray here. Just a couple. I'm going to flip it over. Boom. That's it. Now, super light gray. That's what I'm also going to do for the antenna ball. They're both so small, they're just going to take super, super light colored gray right there. Okay, so now mouth here. It's so small, I don't know if I'll be able to make those teeth marks like I was originally thinking. So what we're going to do before we do that, we're going to take our dark gray here. Just going to put a little bit. All I did was a drop. Drop, two drop. Well, two drops, one drop in each spot. So now I'm going over the same spot on the other side. And basically doing same thing. Now I'm going to take this lightest gray, go back over it. It's going to blend all that together. Flip it over. Same thing. And right in there. Make sure you're going to fully saturate that section, but not oversaturate it. If it gets oversaturated, just got your little handy paper towels. Just kind of dab it a little bit. It's going to pull that extra water out, and you'll be good to go. Okay, gray one right back over there. Okay, so the mouth, what we're going to do is I feel like, so we're just going to put a small amount of black on one side. Just the littlest bit. And be super careful, because a little goes a whole long way. Little goes a long way. Okay. Now I just put the lightest gray on the other side. And we'll see if it gives it a teeth look. See the robot face? Okay. This right here. This will be the neck. So I'm gonna take a little of my dark gray. Put it right here. I'm gonna take. Looks like there's already a decent amount of that gray there. So I'm gonna put this over the top here. This is the lightest gray. Flip it over. I'm gonna put some of the gray 2 on the end there. And the gray 1, fill it all back in, my lightest gray. See those colors? They kind of look like metallic colors. That's the whole Whole point. Make it look like metal. Steel gray. Steel blue gray. Steel blue. Okay. So that is this portion here, all black. So I'm going to come through, slowly put some black. That black's going to soak in slow because it's right there. It's tied really tight. These little triangular points. Sometimes they can get a little hard to get the dye to go in, especially if your dye is thickened like this. Okay. So while that soaks in slow, I'm going to come over to this back side. And like you can barely tell where there's room to put dye here. So I'm just going to put little bits in there, little bits. And then this spot right here is the back side of the outline of the head. So we're going to put some right there. It's pooling. Please do not drip. It's absorbing in there very slow. So I got to hold it here, kind of let that absorb in because I definitely see that still pooled on top. It sits there for too long. Then I'll come with a paper towel and dry that. But see if you can see. I hope that wasn't out of focus for too long for you. Yeah, it looks like as I've get close like this. Let you take a look here. And it looks like it is absorbed in there. It did take a minute. Take a look at this side over here. Yep. So I may come through. Probably still need to add some dye there. May need to add some black there. Same with on this side. Right here. Right here. Okay. All right. We're just going to let that sit for now. Now we're coming to the shoulder piece. Okay, so I'm going to take some gray 3. Just put it right at the base of that. What that'll do is that'll give an outline of a darker gray. Okay. Just like that. I'm going to take some gray 2, put it on one side. Take some gray 1, put it on the other side. It's going to give a more of a textured look to that arm right there. It looks like I need a little of that right there. Okay. So shoulder. Now we're going to go to the body here. So we're going to do some gray 3 on the edge right there. And on the edge right here. I'm going to take gray 1, fill out the rest. Right here and right here. And I want this to go, the dye is going about halfway through. I'm going to flip over. Take gray 2. And we're going to do most of the way, but not all the way. And quite a bit of the way here as well. Just like that. Take gray 1. Fill in the rest. That is the body of our robot, the head of our robot. See, as it is a blue steel now. Its color is starting to come together. It almost looks like an elephant here. Okay, so now we're going to come over here. Let's see. Arm. Yeah. Arm. Hand. Finger, finger, finger. Okay, we're going to do all those together. We start gray 3. Gray 3 around the border of all of them. Figure out the best way to hold this so that you can still see right here. Okay, right there at the base. Right here at the base. Turn this. Get it there. It's kind of just sitting on. There we go. And it's a little bit in there. Okay. And we're going to come through this gray 2. Put some dye in the same spots, but opposite of it. All right, let's see. Where are we here? Okay, now this. That one. Barely got that, but I got it. All right, now to the arm over here. Yep, you're gonna be doing a lot of Rubik's cubing as you do this. Okay, here's the spot right here. All right, looks like I got all the spots that I want with that color. Now I'm gonna go to gray 1, and we are filling in these sections. So now this is the rest of it. This will help all of our colors blend, help everything be nice and blue steeled out. There'll be no white. We don't want white. We want gray, more gray, and more gray. But not just gray. Blue steel gray. We got a dark gray, steel gray, blue steel gray, and steel gray. Maybe silver. We might call that last one silver. Silver gray. Okay. Head, body, knees, toes. Shoulder, arm, hand, fingers, fingers, fingers. Okay, now we're going over here to the legs. And make sure these are colored in all the way right here. Just add a little bit until they look damp, but not like dripping wet. You just want like a little bit of wetness. Okay, so down here, I'll grab some gray 3. We're gonna do like just what we did with the other pieces. So some gray 3 down on one side. We're gonna flip it over. some gray 2 over here, where we're going to bring it a little bit farther. And then we're going to fill the rest in with our gray 1, our lightest of the steel colors. This is what brings it together. If you can't get your colors this light, that would not look right. Would not look like metal. And honestly, there's hardly any actual dye in here. But when you mix colors like this, along with your other colors, you get some gradients and stuff going with it. That's when whole game changes. Whole game changes. Our robot is now dyed. But we are not done. Now we're going to go through. We need to line this stuff with black. So there's not a whole lot of border here. So what I'm going to do, before I do that, we're just going to actually border the whole shebang. Okay, I just want to make sure there's no edges touching. I'm going to have to worry about that black bleeding in. So I'm going to go through, just put a little bit of black all the way around. Some spots will get more than others, depending on how much black is already there. So like this spot that already has a black border does not need a whole lot. So we're going to come under here. This is under the body right here. And then these are the legs. So we're coming down into the legs and feet. So what we're going to do, connect those just like so. Just like so. Okay, here we go. Get a nice, good, thick border going on this side. We're going to get it going all the way around. Be real careful right here not to bleed into the antenna. Okay, here we go. Look at that border around there. So that is going to be a nice border all the way around our robot. We're going to tell exactly what that is. Look at, oh yeah, that's a robot. Robot tie-dye. Yep. Nailed it. Okay. Now how to hold for here without dripping and leaking. So I'm about to do some funky holding, it looks like. Okay, right here. Get a couple drips in here. Drip, drip. Not too much. This is around the antenna, the borders here. So I'm at the very top. Okay. We go around the shoulder. In between shoulder and the arm. Along the arm. Around the hands. And down through the fingers. Here we go. We're going to give these fingers some definition. But we don't want too much dye. Too much, it'll all bleed into each other. There's the middle finger right here that we're going around. Be this robot's favorite finger to bend. Okay. Let's see. What's the best way to hold this? Right in here. Here we go. Let's make a quick run. Gotta be quick so we don't spill too much. Too much dye around there. Here we go. All right. Bordering the hand. Going back up past the arm to meet up with the shoulder and the body right here. Okay. See how this looks from this side. All right, so I want to try to split that. So I didn't realize how close those were. So there's going to be some black between the hands and the legs. I may not have wanted because I still got to come around this border here and add more black. So this part where you add black here can be very tricky. Too much, you got a blob. Not enough, and there's a lot of black and white breaks throughout the whole thing, and it makes it, sometimes it can make it a little hard to tell what it is. Okay. Oh, that's a really cool tie-dye shirt. Oh, hey, thanks. It's a robot. Robot? Oh, wait. Where? Oh, I see. Wait. Where? Is it there? No, but thanks. I tried. All right. So let's see. Is our robot done? Is the robot completely colored in? It looks like it. Yeah. Okay. So there is our robot. It looks like an elephant. There's the trunk, front leg, back leg. There's a big ear, eyes, and the rest of it. It's wearing a crown. Elephant, elephant. Okay, now we add color to this. We're going to use the rest of these colors. So what I'm going to do, gray, 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 no grays, no more grays. Now, what color do we put to start around? So what we could do is like, no, I don't want to do that kind of a scheme. I need to make this a little flatter too. Kind of losing its shape. Been holding it, moving around too much. Put you right back here in the middle. All right. So the color from around the robot. I think we shall do yellow. No, orange. So this is a toned orange. The tone orange is going to be not necessarily as deep of an orange. It's not going to be pastel. It's not quite going to be neon. It's just going to be a bright orange here. So we're going to border our robot with this orange. Make sure not to get any color inside of the robot itself. Those areas that we've already dyed. Take a look at this side over here. Yeah. So this is the border. So we're going to do orange all the way around the border here. Give it a decent amount. Okay. And the next color, we're just going to move this way. I think that sounds good. Just going to go in a row. Do some yellow. Some full strength yellow here. So it should mix pretty well with that orange. Brighten it up along the edge. Okay. There's a good amount. I'm actually putting, yellow gets overtaken a lot. I'm actually putting quite a decent amount on there. We'll go over to our green. It just looks like a green here. Add quite a bit of blue into this too. That's how bright green our green is typically. Just add enough to go all the way through. See, in our toned blue, tone plus blue. So green's going to overtake it quite a bit. So we'll see what kind of blended color this is right here in the middle. I do overlap my colors. That's what it gives them a good blend rather than like a hard line between them. So that way I have good smooth gradients all the way through. Okay. And then when these two mix, should have some dark purple right there in the middle. Probably go back over this with some of that blue. That way there's not a hard line like what you can see right there. This dark red is almost between like a dark red purple. Once the black gets added to it, it's weird how it almost looks purple. Be like kind of a maroon burgundy color. Okay, so there's that. Come back through with this blue. Put it right on the edge. That way it blurs out that line. Gives you a nice gradient. Okay. I'm going to go back over, mixing my colors up over here. Go back over here to this orange. And it's going to brighten up the edge of the red. May even give it, it seems to take it more into that maroon color. Okay. I'm going to take some of this yellow, put it over this green. Let's take a look. All right, so color is most of the way through. Okay. So we're going to do black right over the top here. And just a quick layer of it. Enough to cover the whole thing, but not enough to super saturate it. And these bottles kind of clog up sometimes. There's a fine tipped bottle, what I have the black in right now. Okay. There's that. We're going to do a flip over. And this whole side is getting blacked as well. I'm going to do the border first. Go kind of quick. If you stay in a spot for too long, it will run, it will drip, it will go places you don't want it to go. So don't do that. Try to get everything. I don't really want much white in this shirt, so I'm going to try to go over it all really well. All right. And of course, my bottle's clogging up, so I'm going to come over here. And this lets out a lot more, much quicker, which you need to be careful with if you got doing something like this. Yeah, too much dye going all over too fast. Bleed into places you don't want it to go, and then end up missing places that you do want it to go. Okay. So we're just going to do a little quick over. All right, looks like we got everything here. And here we go. So we're going to let that sit until tomorrow, and then I'll have the results. All right, and there is our robot. Looks like an elephant. And here comes the tedious task of taking off all these rubber bands. So these little tiny rubber bands that I put on here, I'm not a fan of these really at all. They do work well for like their purpose that I use them for right here, but because they're so small, they're a pain. Like your fingers start to hurt taking them off, especially if you put them on tight. And luckily, they're all coming off pretty easily right here. Sometimes I have a lot of trouble with those sometimes. It looks like I got all those off. And there is a way where, like, say you just untie everything and leave those on, you can bust the shirt open real quick and it'll pop all those rubber bands off. And I have done that, but I'm not really a big fan of doing it because while it is easier, those rubber bands, they go flying. Like, who knows where they go? And then you got to go find them. And so I'm not trying to leave little rubber bands everywhere. So I'll take them off, and they can be reused too. Like they're since they don't really stretch too much, you can probably get quite a few uses out of them. I usually know when a rubber band is done when I pick it up and it feels thin or stretched out or whatever. And like those ones, when they pop on you, they kind of hurt too. So not a huge fan of just those. Well, not a big fan of rubber bands in general. The ties like this, it is a little easier, but trying to tie those little nubs with this tie, that can be, it hurts your fingers. So there's kind of just a pick your poison, I guess you could say. Okay, so now that shirt is right here. So now we're going to find the end of our tie. There it is. And this So sometimes if you give yourself a little room right here, you can just pull and it'll start to unwind. As long as nothing's grabbing it. So let's see, it looks like I'm in a, when you get in a little tight spots, or if you don't know where it's going, sometimes you can't quite do that, but see how all that just untied all in one little pull there. That's one thing that's nice about sinew. Let's see, where am I going? Okay, here we go. So that's a little spot I can't just pull, but here we go. All right. It's like the magic of tying. One tie. Everybody knows rules. Okay, so I'm working on the last little bit right here. And the only thing left is that knot that I tied. So what I'm going to do is go to the other side and pull that. And it's just going to lift right off. So we're going to open this up. As you can see, there's half of our robot shape. We'll come over here, grab the sleeves, and voila, our robot. There's the front side. And here's the back side. Little Rojak pattern. That is definitely a robot. This has been Nate with Dye for Life. Please click like and subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching.